Hi there, today we are going to be doing a super casual Q&A session. I asked in some of my social media places for you to ask me any questions that you may have. So I've collated some of those together and got some themes from those questions. So before I get into the questions, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kim. I help therapists in private practice get online, get confident with admin and reduce tech overwhelm. So let's get into some of these questions. Okay, first question. Should I pay for Google Workspace or just use the free option? Okay, this is a really good question and one I do get often. So the difference between the free version and the paid version really is a professional email address. So if you wanted to have kim@simmonscounselling.com rather than simmonscounselling@gmail.com, you have to pay for that. So you're going to have to own that domain. You're going to have to buy simmonscounselling.com or whatever name you want for your counselling practice, and then you will be able to use your name at yourbusiness.com. So that is the difference between a free and paid version of Google Workspace. Anybody can set up an @gmail.com email address. Now, because it's so cheap to set up, I would 100% recommend getting a paid for Google Workspace account immediately, even if you have no clients. To buy a domain will cost you around £20 for about 2 years, and then you'll be paying around £4 a month for Google Workspace to have your professional email address. So I would say it's more than worth it for the cost involved. The other thing that a paid for Google Workspace account gives you is it allows you to sign a BAA, which means that you can upload your client's healthcare information onto the Google Drive. Google Workspace and Google Drive are GDPR compliant, but it does say that you shouldn't have healthcare information on the free version. So if you are uploading client paperwork and things like that, where they have given you their GP details and answered any medical questions, I would make sure that you have the paid Google Workspace account. You do get larger storage options with the paid for account and some additional features on some of their apps. You might not need this to start with anyway, so the first 2 reasons I gave you would be my reasons for doing a paid account. Okay, question 2. It's my first year in private practice. Any tips on filing my self-assessment? So as soon as you decided to be in private practice, I would register as a sole trader. I do have a checklist that you can download, which has all of the links to all of the places you'll need to sign up to. So you can download that if you want. I'll add the link in the description below. But I would make sure you register as soon as possible. You'll get given a code and login details, and I would suggest making sure that you can log in and test those as soon as possible, because you don't want to get to the 30th of January and you can't log in to do your self-assessment. My next tip is to make sure you set up a business bank account, so a separate bank account from your personal account that you use, so that you can make sure that anything incoming for your private practice and any expenses are all on one account. That is my biggest tip for anybody who's starting out, is get a separate business bank account. My next suggestion is to do your bookkeeping monthly. Don't leave everything till the last minute. Now, there are various ways you can do this. Currently, you can still do this manually. So I have a sole trader bookkeeping template, for example, or you can make your own up where you enter all of the information from your revenue and your expenses, so you can keep track of what your business is earning each month. This will make it much easier for you to do your self-assessment at the end of the year. If you don't want to do it manually, there are online options you can use, such as QuickBooks and Xero, which you can sync with your bank account. Or if you use Starling, which is the bank that I use and recommend so much, you can get the business toolkit for £7 a month, and then you'll be able to do your bookkeeping directly within the app itself. So those are my tips for self-assessment. Okay, question number 3. Is it necessary to invoice my clients in private practice? Oh, this is a good one. So I did a video a few weeks ago all about invoicing in private practice, which goes really in depth. So I'll link that above here, so you can check that out if you really want to learn more about invoicing. My quick answer to that is yes. I do believe you should invoice your clients in private practice, and there's loads of reasons for that. I have a couple of reasons why I think this is really important. Number 1, you'll then have evidence if you ever get checked on by HMRC. You'll have all the backup paperwork of what you've invoiced. Number 2, clients generally pay better if you send them a physical invoice. They generally pay more on time and you have to chase them less. So they're my reasons for saying yes to sending a physical invoice. But what I would really say about invoicing is just to remain consistent. Whether you invoice weekly or monthly, in advance or retrospectively, just invoice the same way all the time so your clients know what to expect. And also make sure you are chasing any overdue payment, so you don't let your clients rack up a huge bill of unpaid invoices. Okay, question number 4, what cancellation period do you suggest? So your cancellation period is really going to be based on the type of practice you have. So how many clients do you currently see? How much space do you have in your practice? How regularly do you see your clients? Whether you currently have a waiting list, and also how often your clients do cancel. I would say the majority of my clients have a 48-hour cancellation period. Some have a 24-hour cancellation period, and some even have a week. But the majority of my clients have 48 hours, and that seems to work out really well for both the clients and the therapist. It gives the therapist enough time to offer other clients that space, and it also gives clients that are cancelling a chance to reschedule to another slot. With regards to what you should charge if they cancel under your cancellation period, so if it's 48 hours and they cancel the day before, I would suggest charging your full rate. Some of the therapists I work for charge a 50% charge, but I would suggest doing the full rate to really help discourage the late cancellations. Okay, question 5. What paperwork should I send my clients? Ooh, okay, this is a big question. So again, this will really depend on the type of practice you have and the type of clients you see. Do you only work with adults? Do you work with children or couples? Do you take medical insurance? These are some questions you'll need to ask, which really will determine the type of paperwork you need. So if you're working with just adults and you don't take medical insurance, I would suggest as a minimum, you send a client intake form and also a therapy agreement. But a therapy agreement could be from 2 pages to 20 pages, depending on what it is you want to tell them within that agreement. I would say on the client intake form, make sure you're getting all of your clients' personal details, their name, their address, their phone number, their email. Get an emergency contact, name and contact number, and also GP details. You should also ask them to confirm how they'd like to be communicated with and what you can communicate with them about. Within your therapy agreement, I would make sure that you tell them anything they need to know about your therapy practice, such as your opening hours, how quickly you'll respond to emails, what your fee is, your cancellation policy, if you'll raise your fees annually, if you work online, how they can best utilize online therapy, if you work at a physical location, some information they need to know about that, such as the address, if there's a waiting room, the facilities on site, etc. My go-to with everything to do with paperwork is to head to one of my clients' Tamara Howe's website, Private Practice Paperwork or Practice with Tamara. I will link them both in the notes, but she has lawyer approved paperwork for therapists in private practice. She's done all the hard work for you, so you can just buy the templates and work from there. There are some other forms you may need as well, such as a release of information and also medical insurance intake forms if you do work with medical insurers. Last question. When should I hire a VA? I think if you're asking this question, it's probably time for you to think about hiring a VA. If you are wondering about it, there's probably a reason that you're wondering about it. Maybe you're overwhelmed with the amount of admin you have. Maybe your practice has got really busy and you are dealing with a lot of email correspondence. You're getting a lot of inquiries. You're onboarding a lot of clients. So I would say if you're asking this question, it's probably a good time to think about it. If you'd like me to post a video about hiring a VA and what questions you should ask, let me know in the comments and I would love to do a video for you on that. If I was to give a more factual answer about when you should hire a VA, I would say if your admin is encroaching on your personal life, so if you're working in the evenings or at weekends, or if you're really rushing between clients to answer emails, it might be time to hire a VA. With regards to the amount of clients, I would say once you get to around 10 clients, 10 to 15, then it would be time to hire a VA, and they will definitely be able to help you reduce your administration time. Also, if you're starting to feel overwhelmed and dreading doing your admin, or if you just don't like it at all, you might be just starting out and think, this is not what I wanted to do at all. I want to work with clients, and you don't want to do the administration. That's fine. Maybe that's the time that you need to hire a VA. Okay, so that was a quick Q&A video from me based on the questions that you asked. If you have any more questions for me, let me know in the comments. I'd love to answer more for you. Until next time, thanks for watching.